Muncie firefighters respond to a fire near Ball State's campus this morning, how the fire started and why it was difficult to put out.
And tonight, the Ball State community is mourning the loss of one of its own, former professor and ABC anchor Steve Bell. Here at Newslink, Indiana, we're remembering his legacy.
And the rain and snow is moving out, but the cold temperatures are moving in. I'll let you know how cold it's going to get in just a few minutes.
From the heart of Ball State University, live from the Unified Media Newsroom, Newslink Indiana starts right now.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for being with us. I'm Tanner Holbrook.
And I'm Brittany Ehrman.
We want to get right to that bitterly cold temperatures that we're getting ready to face here in the next couple days.
And
it's not going to be good.
Yeah, we're not looking forward to it, Tanner. So, Gabe, how can we prepare and what can we expect?
Yeah, guys, this evening, rain and snow is finally starting to make its way out of the area, but temperatures are falling below freezing, so it's causing some issues on the roadways. Again, a little bit of snow filling in from the west, but I think by midnight that snow will start to taper out. That's reflected over the next few hours, falling down to 20 degrees by 11 p.m., 18 by 1, and into the single digits by later on this evening. As those winds continue to pick up and on the increase, it's going to feel chilly this evening, and that's why we have a wind chill warning in effect for the entire viewing area that goes into effect at 10 p.m. tomorrow and lasts until 1 p.m. on Thursday, although the cold temperatures are going to begin during the day tomorrow, and we're going to continue to fall even further. So I'll detail exactly how cold it's going to get coming up in my full forecast.
All right, thank you, Gabe. Well, breaking this evening, 5 police officers are wounded after a shooting in a southeast Houston neighborhood. The injured officers were transported to a hospital. 2 of the officers are in critical condition and 3 are in stable condition. Officials say 2 suspects are dead and 1 more is barricaded inside a home.
Former Ball State telecommunications professor and ABC News anchor Steve Bell died on Friday at the age of 83.
Newslink Indiana's Michelle Kaufman spoke to the TCOM department about Bell's legacy and his impact on Ball State.
Bell became the first Edmund F. and Virginia B. Ball Endowed Chair in Telecommunications in 1992.
Steve, being the first endowed chair, he set the bar. And from that point forward, I think we always were looking for someone who we could look at and say, what can this person bring to our students that they cannot find somewhere else?
During his career, Bell covered events such as the Watergate break-in, Vietnam War, and assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Martin Luther King Jr., and Robert Kennedy.
And he would tell stories about things. It wasn't like he was just telling stories, like old war stories. He would tell stories that were pertinent to what you were talking about. And, it's kind of hard to argue when he'd say, well, we did this and that and the other thing. And you go, well, we can understand how they could be done this way. And
in 2017, Bell received the IBA Lifetime Achievement Award.
Blessed to have 30 years plus in broadcasting and 15 years in what I originally set out to do when I went to college, which was to be a college professor.
In Muncie, Michelle Kaufman, Newslink, Indiana.
A lifetime of achievement indeed, and Bell is survived by his wife and 2 daughters.
Funeral arrangements are pending. Once we know that information, we'll be sure to bring it to you here and at ballstatedaily.com.
Also tonight, the Muncie Fire Department responded to a fire near Ball State's campus this morning, but it wasn't the heat that was the issue. Cold temperatures brought problems for the firefighters, including having to thaw out a fire hydrant. Soren Schaller with the Muncie Fire Department said firefighting in cold temperatures is very challenging.
When it is super cold, as soon as any water gets on the ground, it turns into instant ice too, and so it makes the fire scene more hazardous. You get wet, and it just makes everything a lot more difficult all across the board.
No one was injured in the fire. Its cause is under investigation, but MFD thinks it might have been an electrical issue.
And Indiana state senators' efforts to eliminate child labor laws in the state have raised concerns of conflict of interest. State Senator Chip Perfect introduced a bill that would remove restrictions on the amount of hours a minor can work, among other changes. Perfect is the CEO of Perfect North Slopes, which employs more than 300 minors. He says the bill focuses on small businesses and there's no conflict of interest.
Well, the bitter cold temperatures usually makes it difficult to go outside and have fun. But that changed when an impromptu social media post brought a snowy battle. Local law enforcement turned a cold winter night into a warm evening filled with hot chocolate and adventure. Take a look. As night fell on a cold and blustery Sunday night,
That's a pretty good little arsenal.
fun filled the air. A snowball fight,
Push on my hands. Harder. Harder.
as spontaneous as they come.
Has anybody not had hot chocolate yet that wants some?
The challengers, the Muncie Police Department. And accepting the challenge, the children of Muncie.
Lots of fun.
Fun and fun and
I instruct social media to other police agencies, and I shared the stats on a sledding post recently. Somebody put a video of sledding. So I was just kind of thinking about snow-related themes, and I thought, man, it'd be pretty cool just to have a pop-up snowball fight.
The Delaware County Sheriff's Office and Ball State Police even got in on the action.
Being able to connect with the community outside of around our university and come out downtown and hang out with some of the Muncie people actually from Muncie. I love this kind of event, so it's awesome.
Now it's hard to tell who won the snowball fight, but it's easy to tell who had more fun.
You know, anytime we do something like this, you're always worried, is anybody going to show up or not? And when we pulled in with the hot chocolate, there were families walking up, which was pretty awesome. So.
Right now, the original Facebook post has over 900 shares and workwear. It's located on McGalliard Road. Donated winter hat and gloves for those who came out. Such a fun little story.
A fun story, and people having fun in the cold.
With the police officers.
Right.
Like, you never see that kind of thing.
Exactly. So we're happy to see that in the community. And yeah, it's chilly, but they made the best of it.
Yeah, anyway, moving on. Also tonight, this year's General Assembly is discussing 4 bills regarding school bus safety. This after the death of the Ingalls children in northern Indiana. The bills are proposing to increase the penalty for drivers if they choose to ignore the stop arm. That could potentially cause bodily harm. If the bills are passed, rather, drivers could be fined up to $10,000. They could also receive a sentence of 2.5 years. Yorktown Community Schools Superintendent Greg Hinshaw says drivers need to assume children are nearby when they see a bus.
Drivers just need to assume if you're seeing a school bus, especially during pickup and drop-off times, that there are going to be children who are pedestrians in the vicinity of that bus. And so you treat that with extra caution.
Newslink Indiana will continue to follow this issue as the bill progresses through the General Assembly. All right, coming up, we'll tell you how 2 Ball State students are making a name for themselves.
And we'll tell you how students showed off their talents on campus this weekend, right after the break.
No more, he didn't mean it.
No more, she seems fine to me.
No more, not my problem.
No more, she was drunk.
No more, he was drunk.
No more, she was asking for it.
No more, he didn't mean it.
No more, why didn't she tell anyone? No more, we don't talk about that.
No more bystanding.
No more ignorance.
No more excuses.
No more.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.
After retiring from the NFL, I've been able to spend a lot more time coaching my daughter's basketball teams. It's something I love to do. Through our games and our tournaments, we see all types of coaching, good and bad. And it begs the question, do we really know who's coaching our kids? Do they have the proper training and screening it would take for me to be comfortable with my daughters playing for that coach? Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to screen and train all of our coaches. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Welcome back to Newslink Indiana. Well, 5 Ball State students were recently selected to represent the university at a national poetry competition, which will take place at the University of Houston later this year. Pretty impressive.
Newslink Indiana's Emerson Lehman joins us live in the newsroom with more about those talented poets. Emerson.
Well, Tanner, Brittany, good evening. Using slam poetry as his platform, Ball State senior Trey Cates is pretty good at telling stories. So good, in fact, we decided to let Trey tell his own story.
I didn't start off with poetry. I remember back in middle school, I was actually writing some comic strips and fiction stories, short stories. You know, I don't know what it comes from, whether that's just how much I watched TV and movies growing up or whatever, but I've always wanted to be able to tell my own stories and craft those, and I think it's evolved over time from the short stories that I've written to now, primarily being a poet.
A real natural performer. He seemed very comfortable on stage. You know, has a really nice speaking voice, really nice dynamic sort of way of reading, and his poems are really strong.
A couple months ago, actually, I auditioned, and I was one of the final 10 participants to be picked to compete at the Ball State Cup C preliminaries, and from them they pick 5 participants to go to the Nationals in Houston. So in April, me and my team will be going to compete in Houston, University of Houston, in the National Cup C Poetry Competition. Something just told me, I saw a flyer somewhere in the Student Center. It said we're looking for some slam poetry competitors, and I auditioned, and you know, I really fell in love with it, and I really just loved hearing everyone else perform theirs and being able to perform my work as well. I'm really grateful for this opportunity to be able to represent my school and my city. You know, being born in Muncie, that makes it a little bit more special as well. But just being able to do what I love, and that's read poetry and listen to some of the best young poets that, you know, the nation has to offer, is really exciting, and I'm really looking forward to that.
And Brittany, Tanner, as Trey mentioned, he and 4 other students are preparing for that national competition, which will take place at the University of Houston, April 10th through the 13th.
Emerson, does Trey have any goals with poetry following that competition?
Yes, Tanner. Actually, Trey's accepted a job with Facebook following graduation, so he'll be moving to Chicago, where he tells me there's a large poetry scene. So he hopes to stay involved with it there, and one day dreams of publishing his own book.
All right, Emerson Lehman, live in the newsroom. Thank you very much.
Well, for some students, Tanner, simply trying to find time to do homework, sleep, and eat can be a challenge. We can relate to that.
Oh, yeah.
From classes to extracurricular activities, time can run away.
It just runs away.
It does. Newslink Indiana's Esther Bauer introduces us to a student who stacks up in a pretty unique way.
Being a full-time student can be a full-time responsibility.
My name is Robert Wetherington. My friends call me Robbie. I am a double major in dance and social work.
From class to rehearsal, most of his time is spent in the studio perfecting an art he loves.
You know, I'd love to dance in a company. I would love to mix the two as well.
Robbie's been cast in numerous dance productions right here at University Theater, but dancing isn't the only talent he's perfected. In fact, he stacks up in another area pretty well.
The gym teacher brought in some cups. It's probably like 2008, 2009, and yeah, after the week I was the best one in my class, and I just decided to keep going.
And he sure did keep going.
I've competed at Junior Olympics 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016. I couldn't go to 17, and then 2018, so that is 5 different Junior Olympics.
When Robbie's not breaking his own records in Indiana and Ohio, he brings his roommates, Sawyer and Adrian, in on the fun too.
He's always doing something quirky, like Adrian said, and I'm pretty sure he could throw a video up on the screen of him every day of the year and it would never repeat. So it's always a surprise.
And while his talents are surprising, to his roommates, he's just Robbie.
It's pretty good. There's no big negatives. He often leaves the shower curtain open, but that's fine. It's fine.
In Muncie, Esther Bauer, Newslink, Indiana.
Wow, that is fast. Right now, Robbie is in rehearsals for his next dance performance, Gypsy, and getting ready for his next cup stacking competition in February.
Well, this weekend at Ball State started out with a bang as the university finished Diversity Week with Latinx Palooza. Friday night, students came together for a night of food and music, paying tribute to different cultures. The event was put on by the Latina Student Union, and acts featured students from all across campus. And even our own Mary Ebert and Alicia Barnarcha participated in the event, got in on some of the action. Latina Student Union President Jamie Rodriguez says events like this helps educate the public.
I think these type of events are a huge impact on campus. I feel like it helps with those who feel homesick and look for something, or those who wish to learn about other cultures and want to embrace diversity.
To contact the Latina Student Union, you can email them at lsu@bsu.edu. All right, Gabe, what's coming up in weather?
Yeah, temperatures continuing to fall this evening down into the single digits, but it's going to feel downright balmy compared to what's coming the next couple of days. I'll have the details after the break.
For those who serve today and those who served before them, for those whose sacrifice will never end, the Gary Sinise Foundation shows its gratitude through entertainment, outreach, and life-changing support. We can never give enough, but we can always give a little more. Find out how you can donate at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
Sometimes there's no do-over. Some things you can't rewind. That's when an extra safety step could mean the difference between a close call and a call to 911. Simple steps save lives. Learn more at poolsafely.gov.
Don't wait. Communicate. Make your emergency plan today.
Of all the things you've done with your bike, donating it to Goodwill may be the most incredible of all. Your donations help fund job placement and training for people in your community, which means your stuff can be more powerful than you think. Goodwill. Donate stuff, create jobs.
Welcome back to Newslink, Indiana. We were just talking that although it rained all day, that cold dipping down below zero, it's going to turn into some slick spots on the road.
Right. So if you're on your way out, definitely, again, those road conditions are going to be slick, so they need to be careful, right?
Yeah, exactly. We have some travel advisories in place across the area. So if you're heading out tonight, be sure to give yourself some extra time on the roadways. On radar, though, the rain and snow that it eventually changed over to has finally moved out of the area. Though, so we've got a little bit off to the west starting to build back in. So some of our western counties, like Madison County, if you're just north of Anderson tonight, you're experiencing a bit of that snow that's on the backside of the system off to the west. The Chicago area and now moving into northwestern Indiana is a bit of that snow that'll start to fill into the area. So as we progress through the next few hours, we could see a few snow showers remaining across the area. 24 degrees right now, so temperatures are really beginning to drop. A west wind at 23 miles per hour, making it feel like only 9 degrees out there, and that's going to continue to be the story over the next few days. Across the area right now, temperatures in the 20s on the eastern side of the state, but as we work our way westward, temperatures cool down quite a bit. Only 14 degrees in Lafayette, 13 in Champaign, Illinois, and that's all moving our way. Tonight, temperatures will drop all the way down to 8 degrees tonight. The snow will end. I think by midnight, we should start to see that snow taper off for the most part. Breezy conditions, though, with that wind continuing to stick around. As we mentioned at the top of the show, we've got a big temperature trend going on with temperatures dropping all the way down to -4 by Wednesday, rising, though, by the weekend when we could see even temperatures in the 50s. Keep in mind our average is 34, so we're seeing a big variation in temperatures. A wind chill warning is in effect, as we mentioned at the top of the show, from 10 p.m. Tuesday to 1 p.m. Thursday, so keep in mind, layer up, and as you make your way through the day tomorrow, those wind chills are going to be chilly. If you're heading out early tomorrow morning, it's going to feel like -7 degrees, and it doesn't warm up all that much during the day tomorrow, as you see temperatures dipping down even further. Again, that wind chill advisory going into effect shortly after that. 12 degrees during the day tomorrow, winds sticking around for the most part, and on the 7-day forecast, this isn't Nome, Alaska or International Falls, Minnesota. This is Muncie, Indiana, and temperatures will only get up to -4 Wednesday. Overnight lows dipping down even further. Some snow is possible Friday, but temperatures will warm up quite a bit by the weekend, when we could even see temperatures in the 50s. So definitely some weather whiplash coming up this week.
Night and day there, Gabe. Thank you so much. All right, Colton, what do we have coming up in sports?
Well, Ball State men's volleyball team picked up a huge win over a nationally ranked opponent. Find out who that opponent was coming up after the break.
Isn't this perfect?
It was my pleasure. May I?
Adam, I can't thank you enough for saving me from that sweepstakes scam. I could have lost everything.
It was a classic cat and mouse game. Remember, you never have to pay to play.
You're my hero.
Oh.
After all these years. What's the matter, Adam? Cat got your tongue?
Sure, I look cute now, but when my owner lost his job, it was rough. I was living on the street, and one night, me and this Cocker Spaniel got into it so bad, I wound up looking like an ice cream cone. I cried a little bit, but thankfully I got rescued, so I'm running, I'm jumping, all back to my old self, and I'm ready to give unconditional love, even if you put a lampshade on my head.
I'm a teacher. Let me tell you what I make. I make learning a privilege, not a chore, and frustration a tool, not an obstacle. I make working hard seem easy and giving up impossible. I make an old subject feel like a fresh thought and unconventional methods common. I'm a teacher. I make more.
Welcome back to Newslink, Indiana. I'm Colton Howard with sports. Ball State men's volleyball team had their eyes set on starting 1-0 in the MIVA Conference over the weekend, but it wasn't going to come easy. The Cardinals hosting the number 12 ranked Ohio State Buckeyes at Worthen Arena Saturday night. Ohio State came out strong on a 5-0 run to start the match. The Buckeyes would take the first set, leaving the Cardinals with a hole to dig out of. Ball State would take the next 3 sets, however, compiling 10 service aces, including 5 from junior Parker Schwartz. If the 10 service aces weren't enough, Ball State also combined for 38 kills throughout the match. With that win, the Cardinals improved to an even 4-4 record overall and are now 1-0 in the MIVA Conference. After 3 matches inside Worthen Arena, Ball State will now hit the road to take on Harvard and Sacred Heart next weekend, both matches starting at 7 p.m. Ball State University men's swimming and diving finished their regular season with a 5th place finish at the Butler Invitational Sunday afternoon. Leading the way was freshman diver Hunter Onge. Onge started the day placing 3rd in the 1-meter dive and again placing 3rd in the 3-meter. Head coach Jay Agnew was pleased with the team efforts his team put forth and says he looks forward to the challenges that lie ahead in the quickly approaching Mid-American Conference Championships beginning in March. And for the Ball State women's basketball team, Saturday was a heartbreaker. Coming off a gritty win against Kent State at home, snapping a 3-game losing streak, the Cardinals looked to string together a pair of wins. Led by senior Jasmine Sams, the Cardinals were able to lead the Broncos by 11 heading into the final quarter. But from there, Western Michigan turned up the heat and outscored Ball State 22-8 in the 4th quarter, proving too much too quick for Ball State. The Broncos relied on the sharp shooting of senior Meredith Miller, who knocked down 7 3-pointers for a team-leading 21 points. Ball State didn't struggle offensively, shooting 41% from the floor, including 3 players scoring in double digits. Where the Cardinals lost the game was not taking care of the ball, and Western made them pay for their mistakes. Ball State turned it over 17 times, which the Broncos converted into 20 points. Western was also deadly from behind the arc, shooting over 33% from downtown and 60% from the fourth quarter. The Cardinals went ice cold in the final 7 minutes of the game, only making one field goal during that time, while the Broncos fought back from a 14-point deficit. The Cardinals will regroup and get ready for their road game against Buffalo coming up on Wednesday. So the women's basketball team, they took the loss over the weekend, but they have a chance to bounce back this Wednesday, heading to Buffalo, New York.
All right, well, hopefully they get that win coming up.
Yeah,
Thanks, Colton.
Not a problem.
All right, well, just ahead, find out what musical is celebrating a big birthday.
Plus, we'll talk about the new Netflix documentary that has everyone talking. It's all ahead and trending.
Hey, did you know 2.4 million loving cats and dogs in shelters and rescues need our help to find a home? Let's go to the shelterpetproject.org and meet a few who are in a shelter near you. Harlow, oh, she's one great listener who loves to hear all your stories. My kind of cat. Cerulo is a sweet, goofy boy who's eager to please. Sounds just like another dog I know. So go to the shelterpetproject.org, search your local shelters and rescues, and go for a cuddle with your next best friend. Adopt.
Problems. The ones nobody talks about at cocktail parties. We go looking for them. No matter the obstacles, no matter the odds, we surround a community's most critical problems, and we fight. United Way fights for the health, education, and financial stability of every person in every community. Will you?
It doesn't take a scientist to cure hunger or a fancy economist to create safe housing. It takes imagination, creativity, sweat equity. And I think of kids going to school hungry. Hunger, homelessness. In this land of plenty, seriously? Come on, we could fix this. Help out, or don't. The choice is yours.
Here's your sandwich, miss.
Oh, thank you.
And your burger.
Awesome, thank you.
And your bowl of boiling water, sir.
Welcome back. Time to take a look at what is trending.
Joining us now is Newslink Indiana's Isabel Kristoviak. What do you have for us?
Rent the Musical celebrated their 20th anniversary last night with a live performance that aired on Fox. The musical group made a stop here at Ball State University last night and will begin their tour this year. Written by Jonathan Larson, Rent is a musical about a group of New Yorkers struggling with their careers, love lives, and the effects of AIDS. With their song Season of Love and many others, it is a musical that will be sure to capture your heart and leave you inspired. Now to a Netflix film that has a lot of people buzzing. Conversations with a Killer, the Ted Bundy tapes, has been the topic of many discussions. This Netflix documentary includes present-day interviews, footage, and audio files made while the notorious killer was on death row. It includes 4 episodes looking into the mind of Ted Bundy. Zac Efron plays a serial killer in an extremely wicked, shockingly evil, and vile way. The Netflix show aired last Thursday on the anniversary of Bundy's death.
Yeah, this has been something that I've been hearing about. I actually, I have a roommate, Sharp. We've been watching it. We watched it a little bit at lunch today. It is crazy to see inside of the mind of this guy and what was happening during his trial. Just insane.
And this thing is getting a lot of backlash too on social media about people saying it's being glorified, what he did, and they're not. People aren't happy about it.
Yeah, I definitely don't think though it'd be something that I could personally watch by myself. It seems a little too spooky, and I feel like I would need to have someone by my side when I watch it.
Absolutely, you know, like that's exactly why I watched it with my roommate while we were eating. It's good to watch it during the day. So it's very scary, just crazy. I mean, to really see inside of the psychology of this guy's mind is insane.
But on a happier note, Rent.
Yeah.
So what's going on with that?
Oh my gosh, it was phenomenal. So it came here to campus, and basically they are just starting up their tour again. I know that Vanessa Hudgens is actually in the cast
That
as
was
well.
shocking.
Yeah, and they had the live performance, and it showed all the backstage things that they did, all the costume changes and everything, and it was a really cool performance.
All right, we'll have to leave it right there. Thank you so
Sounds
much.
good.
All right, last weather, Gabe.
Yeah, I've got bone-chilling cold setting in, really starting Tuesday night and continuing on into Thursday. Be sure to bundle up and dress warm over the next few days.
All right, Gabe, thank you so much. That's all tonight for Newslink Indiana. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night at 9, streaming live on the Newslink Indiana Facebook page.
And as always, make sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, or go to ballstatedaily.com and watch us there. Have a great night.
You've been watching Newslink Indiana in high definition.